Dogda Gopalanandana Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Maha. All the Upanishads are like a cow. The cowherd boy is Krishna. The calf is Arjuna. People of purified intellect are the drinkers of the milk, and the milk is the supreme nectar called the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 5, verse 14. Realization of one's own nature. The self does not create agentship or any objects for anyone, no association with the results of actions, but it is nature that acts. Yes, these couple of verses are very profound. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phalasang yogam svabhavastu pravartate. It's like, this temple is meant for the devotees, the votaries, for us. I am not meant for the temple. The house is meant for the person who dwells in it. The person it's not the opposite. We make it kind of the opposite. What happens is the teachings in Hinduism are on various levels. And people who superficially read a little of this grand philosophy, they get confused. What's happening? Here you say the Lord is looking after you, and Sri Ramakrishna says he is so compassionate, he listens to sincere prayers and all these. So this verse, the commentator says that it is spoken from the highest level of reality. So this whole process of spiritual evolution starts from the very basic, and as it keeps on rising, ends up to a point where this becomes valid. Now this verse and the next verse speaks of that highest reality from the standpoint of the personality, the personal, and from the standpoint of the impersonal. When the Lord says, Prabhu, the master, here the commentator says it's the self, the Atman there. The self, na kartritvam, na karmani, lokasya srijati. Prabhu na srijati. The Lord does not create any agentship, nor any karma. So when you say karma, the karma, and it involves the subject and the object and the results. This whole world is nothing but the subject and the object interacting and the results of that karma. So who does it then? Here the self doesn't do it, does not create all these kind of these meshes. Who does it? Swabhavastu, by it flows by its own nature. It is nature that creates. Now when you say what is this nature? There are two basic levels of nature. One is Prakriti, Maya, Ajnana, Avidya. These are the various appellations, you can say names of that one entity. What is that entity? It is called nature or bhava rupa. It has a kind of existence. Now, this is one meaning. The second meaning of swabhava is when we do a particular work, that work gives us a result. Obviously, good or bad or indifferent, whatever. And once we've finished one work, the next one is standing in, waiting for you. The next one comes, and the next one comes, and the next one comes, and the next one comes. You are now impelled by this act of karma. You can say the engagement with the object and the result. So who does that? It is swabhavastu. It is nothing but nature. But when you say, oh my God, what is this nature? So it has to be read on both these levels. So something is called swabhava on this personal level, which is the resultant of all the deeds that we have done over lifetimes, over and over and over. You have done certain things and you are the resultant of those things. And now you are pushing that results on a different level. You are now in that momentum. So a person who's under the thalrum of those samskaras, those impressions of karma, will work in that particular line itself. It has kind of got a hold on you. So what's it? Oh, it is very natural. You'll say, breathing, yeah, it's natural. Okay, yeah. Can you play football? Saying, yeah, oh, it's natural. You just cannot take a person and play football. That guy has practiced football. It has become natural. So all actions which are done, after a while, they become a power within ourselves. This is called swabhava. So, two levels. One is nature. Nature works on principles, on laws. There are these laws that run nature. Nature runs through laws. And the duty of these scientists and all this are just to discover these laws. That's what the whole process is. Is there someone standing behind and making the sun move around and round and round? Or the earth move around and round? No. What is that? Swabhava. Nature. It's nature that's... These forces are running nature. Nature is being run by these forces. Nobody's sitting on the sun and making it run round and round. You know, the sun is relative to us, it is stationary. Yeah. But we are going around the sun, and then the sun, the whole solar system is running around something else, and the whole of the Milky Way is running around something else, and the whole thing is moving and moving. So everything is kind of running around. Who's doing that? There are these laws of nature. They are running the show. Now, when you come down to actions within ourselves, actions and the results, the impressions. And as we know, we do a particular thing and then after some time we get biased. We seek only those things which increase or kind of are comfortable with our bias. Though at times we know that there is something wrong in this. This is called cognitive dissonance. You know the particular thing is wrong, you're doing it, a part of you saying that's wrong. That's cognitive dissonance. Okay. So what happens, like in the third chapter, he's saying, why is a person impelled into sin? Arjuna asks. Atakenam prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. Anichan. He's not willing. And like some force is holding that person and dragging him towards that. What is this? One's own past actions. They are impelling you. So swabhava, nature, has to be seen on both these levels. One is the laws of nature and the ones that rule our internal world, the personal world of us. We are dragged by that. So who does it? So here the verse is very clear. The self does not create srijati, agentship, kartritvam, nor any karma, na karmani. Karma and the object of the karma and the results of that. Na karma phala sangyoga. That's what he say. No karma is it's not joining you with your karma phala. Who does the whole thing? The whole thing is a very, you can say, organic, self-correcting mechanism. That, if that can be said. Self-ruling mechanism. That has taken over and it's running everything. Why? But we hear that the Lord is involved in everything. He is the inner controller. He is the witness. He is this, he is that. Hundreds of things. We have to meditate on Him and pray on. What's that? That is true. But the level of that teaching is different. This is spoken from the highest standpoint. Because if the Lord was involved in your good and bad actions, the Lord also will be responsible for your good and bad actions, which is not possible. So He also will become an agent. That is also not possible. We don't want any kind of agency. So what is that? Yeah, what is that? That is pure consciousness. See, we think that this world of ours, is very big. For us, this world is very big. What I do and what I think and what I feel is very big. It's very important, very significant. At least to me. And you think the world also should take you seriously. Swami Vivekananda says, we make life and death struggles here, and you want even God to take it seriously. It's like puppies play. God knows what puppies play is. So from our standpoint, oh my God, what is this? But see how tiny this earth is compared to the solar system. And compared to the solar system, see how tiny it is in the Milky Way, and how tiny the Milky Way is compared to that supercluster of galaxies, and where are we? What exactly is running this whole thing? And this whole of nature that is visible universe is nothing but a drop in the ocean of Satyamayananda. Can you understand the extent of that reality? It just boggles the mind. The mind, it's not, our brain is not conceptualized, designed, engineered to understand these vastness, the vast distances, and the enormity of this. We will use this word, oh, it's enormous, it's vast, it's infinite. Do you know what it means? Infinite. Yeah, what does it mean? Infinite. There. It doesn't hit you. And when it can hit you even a little, then you can have a little idea of what this reality called Brahman is, the reality called God. When you close your eyes, what do you feel? I'm the body. Well, then you're still far away from understanding the reality. If you close your eyes and you feel like the previous verse, Navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. That is, you feel as if the dweller in this body of 9 gates. When you feel that you are a detached entity here, then you are on the way to enlightenment. Now, this is a city of 9 gates, or likened to a city like. But the city is not permanent. You keep on saying, this is my city, my city, my city. Oh yeah, this is your city, but then you had many cities like this before. Oh really? Oh yeah. So, what brings you out from, what detaches you from this the room and the dweller in the room, knowledge. It is knowledge that makes you detached. So, who or what is this entity that is detached from the house that one lives in? In the 7th chapter, the Lord says, Bhumi rapo nalo vayo kham mano buddhi evacha ahankara mitiyam bhinna prakriti ashtadad. My eightfold prakriti, the great elements, the mind, intellect, the ego, and all these are my lower eightfold nature, swabhava. And what is the higher? Jiva bhutam yayetam dharyate jagat. It is a jiva bhut. It is that individual consciousness that holds everything together. This also, the jiva also falls within the realm of nature, maya, prakriti, avidya, ajnana. Yeah, this has become a now big. Then what? What the whole thing is? Wait. If you have been following the arguments like of the Bhagavad Gita, then you will not be rattled by this. You always thought God is sitting somewhere in the clouds and making you do this and making you do that and giving you a carrot and giving him that stick. Wait, but what happened to all these ideas? Well, when you go to school in the kindergarten, when there you learn all these things, and if you think that this is the only thing that has to be learned, then the teacher will push you at the end of the year to a higher class. Go, get out. And then you keep on graduating from one level to another, and you become wiser and wiser and wiser. Well, does this higher knowledge contradict the lower knowledge? No. It is an unfoldment of this lower knowledge. So the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita are on various levels, one after another. Like we mentioned in the beginning, this is the highest point of the teaching, seen from the standpoint of the person. So consciousness, what does consciousness do? Na kartitvam na karmani lokasya srijati Prabhu. Prabhu, the Lord, the Atman, does not create srijati. What? Agentship, no works. The translation, I think in many books, is no objects of a desire, which is kind of spoken in a very tangential way. Na karma phala sangyoga. I do something, I get the results of it. I get the result, that person does not get it. So each person does that particular karma, and that result comes to that particular person. Who does the whole thing? Yeah. So it's done by nature. So nature is very powerful. You're sitting down here, suddenly you will have a big earthquake. And what happened? Oh, I had great dreams and plans. And suddenly, what happened? You're toppled down. Nature is very powerful. See how it has created this whole systems and systems and systems, if you can say, universes. So on the personal level, we are here. And then we have the collective level, which is called universal. The personal involves both the individual as well as collective. And then there is something called the impersonal. This is spoken from the impersonal standpoint. Pure consciousness does not create any. So what does this, who creates this thing? Who is responsible for this nonsense? Swabhava, nature. You say, is nature some kind of, some entity that is devoid of consciousness? No. You always have nature being impelled by that pure consciousness. So we are like the personal, we feel personal. At the same time, we are interacting with this whole world. We also feel the collective, you can say, aspect of our personality. Because the human personality is made by both factors, the individual, your own karma, and the social. Your religion, your culture, your language, your name, and everything is who gives it to you. Do you decide? No, the society or the culture decides. So your personality is a blend of both you as well as the collective, the individual as well as the collective. This is understood, okay. This is the personal. And this is the individual, this is the personal. And then we have something called the impersonal. This will become clear as we proceed towards the explanation of these next. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, they said, Dhyayativa lelayativa. This self thinks, as it were, meditates, as it were, and shakes, as it were. As it were. Eva. What is this eva? Because it is now associated with the activities of the body and the mind. And that's why it appears as if to think and do and act and all these things. We falsely attribute the qualities or the characteristics of the body and the mind, the senses and the ego and the intellect on the Atman. Atman is not bothered of it, it's a substratum. So, what does the Atman do? The Atman is. It is. It merely exists. So, this whole universe, our personal universe, the universal, is nothing but a small drop. Not even a drop. You can call it a spray. In this vastness called God. And that's why, as we keep on getting mature and mature and mature spiritually, you understand, my God, what is these dimensions, God? And then we say, I fell down and hurt my knee. What, God? What are you doing? You blame God for tripping and falling down and hurting your knee. Well, you can. Still in the kindergarten. As you keep on graduating higher and higher and higher, you come to this point where you feel now the body runs by its own laws, the mind runs by its own laws, the senses interact by its own functionings. And the results come in. And this is what is running the whole universe. So this view that you're standing from here and looking at God with a long beard and white robes and the crown, you look at it, okay, you look from the other side. What happened to that bearded, long-robed with the person with the crown? It's not there. Oh. So we build up our own, you can say, reality, ideas of reality. And slowly and slowly and slowly, we get now caught. It is Swabhava. We get caught up in that. And then, as we keep on proceeding, as Sri Ramakrishna says, go forward. And as you keep on going forward, don't stop here. Like Sri Ramakrishna, you say Sri Ramakrishna is. Do you think Sri Ramakrishna is this only? There are so many higher forms of Sri Ramakrishna. Amazing forms of Sri Ramakrishna, higher and higher and higher. But you start with this. And then you slowly, as you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, you will see the forms of Ramakrishna, higher and higher forms of them. Then you understand, what was this form true? It was true on that level. And on the highest level, the other forms of Sri Ramakrishna are relevant. So, to come back, the self does not create agentship nor any objects of desire for anyone. No sangyoga, no association with the results of action. Karma phala sangyoga. Then what? Who does it? Somebody has to do it. Swabhavastu pravartate. Nature is run by nature. Okay. The next one is another bombshell. Nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muyyanti jantavaha. Na adatte. It does not accept. What? Does not accept. What does it accept? Anyone's kasyachit. What? Does not take except what? Papam. Sin. No? Sukritam. No. Sukrita is here. Who does not take all this kind of thing? Vibhu. The all-pervading, that which is, you can say, omnipresent. Vibhu. That God here is spoken of. That's one of those beautiful, you can say, names of God. Vibhu. That which is all-pervading. Then what happens? Say, ajnanena avritam jnanam. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. Through that, by that, tena muhyanti jantava. Creatures are deluded. So now we are coming closer to this. We have, like Swami Vivekananda says, we have come here to enjoy, but we are being enjoyed. Okay. Kalo na yati vayameva yata. Time does not pass, we pass. Bhogana bhukta vayameva bhukta. We came to enjoy, we are being enjoyed. Trishnana jirna vayameva jirna. This Trishna, this thirst, this kind of the desire has not been quenched, but we have become, you can see, we have become kind of dissipated. So everywhere you find, we came with some grand ideas about ourselves and the universe. And the universe has its own plan. Don't worry. You come to straighten this world? Good luck to you. Go, straighten it out. And then you find what happened. The world you think was a small puddle. It's not a small puddle. It's a huge thing. Huge in the sense of its complex, the complexity here. It is small and yet it is so vast and complex. This is what, so the Lord, the Omnipresent, certainly neither accepts anybody's vice or virtue. Knowledge remains covered by ignorance. Thereby, the creatures become deluded. So the whole thing is now thrown back on you. Pap and punya, good, bad, like just, to kind of classify different types of works, good and bad. There are other Shukla and Krishna and Shukla Krishna. Good, bad, and the mixture of good, bad. God does not take. So here the comment is, even of a devotee. Even of a devotee, no? So what are we doing now? We are, through our, you can say, actions and orientation, we are trying to break this covering of ignorance. Ignorance, ajnanena. Ajnana has two powers. One is avarana shakti, the covering power, as you all know, and vikshepa shakti, that which projects. So this whole universe, the reality, is covered by ignorance, and a different reality is as it was projected. Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. Kshepana is to throw. Now, what? Knowledge is covered by. What is this knowledge? That knowledge of the reality, the I, the real I. That is covered by ignorance. So what do we have to do? Push it away. Push what away? Ignorance. Now how? By the indirect knowledge. Paroksha jnana. That is, yes, this reality is there here. It can be realized, and it is now being covered by ignorance. And ignorance, as I say, it covers it and projects a different reality. I should not run after that different reality. When a snake is seen, it is seen on the rope. You will not see the rope at one corner of the room and a snake the other side. Vedanta is a classical illustration. You will see both of them together. So when you see the snake, you don't see the rope. And when you see the rope, you don't see the snake. They are in the same place. What difference does what is the difference that has made with their perception? One is you are seeing the snake through ignorance, and when you see the rope, you do it through knowledge. So these are the two factors. Instead of identifying ourselves with swabhava, with nature, now we are now trying to identify ourselves with the reality. And the more deeper we go, and deeper and deeper and deeper, as you go deeper inside within you, the more deeper you go, the more you come to the center of your being. And not only the center of the being, it will be the center of this universe. The microcosm and the macrocosm are built on the same plan. So you enter into that Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole. You enter into and come out in a different realm. So you enter into deeper and deeper into the self, and you emerge out into the vast universe. And the whole process of religion and ethics and all these things is to make you come out of your shell, the shell of the I and mine. Lakshmana, he asks Rama, what is this Maya? So Rama says, you and yours, me and mine. This is mine. Very simple. This ajnana, ignorance, what is that? You and yours, me and mine. You are actually part of the whole thing, but now you think you have become separate. The moment you drop off I and mine and you and yours, what happens? You'll see a reality that's spread out. So you emerge out of your, like one of our, past presidents, Swami Ranganathananda used to say, you're coming out of your genetic, you can say, prison. We have built a genetic, you can say, prison through our genes and all that, the whole thing. So there's this memory, genetic memory. This memory is in every cell of yours. And it has been used to replicate bodies after bodies and bodies and bodies and bodies and bodies, the whole thing. So where has it arisen from? From one small point called life. From there has emerged this whole genetic, you can say, memory, the planned or the process of creation without any kind of direct intervention of somebody. It functions. There are so many things happening around inside you, you don't even know what's happening. Yeah, the immune system, the respiratory system, and this and that, every system, all the system, who's running it? I'm not running my lungs right now. You call it subconsciously is being run. That's a different aspect. Who's running the body now? Genetic memory. The genes know what proteins to produce and this and that, and what to kill and what not to kill, and this and that. If a coronavirus gets inside, we know what to do. And then we have the karmic memory, a vast memory, layer of memory that we have done deeds over and over and over again. So we have these two huge streams of memory. They are both created by ajnana. And these memories, they kind of, it's like a prism, You shine a ray of light, and it diffracts. So these two types of memories, the karmic and the genetic memory, the memory of matter, diffracts the whole thing, and you get a different illusion of this world. To come away from this illusion, to come away from what is being projected outside, an appearance, is this. So the Lord does not take your sin. Because what happens? The Lord will be subject again to the laws of karma. He is beyond all memory. He is beyond all matter and its transformation. One time, Girish Ghosh he used to drink, and he drank, and he came and started abusing, verbal abuse to Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna is saying, I don't like this. And then Sri Ramakrishna, he also started abusing Girish Ghosh. So Girish Ghosh said, you are my guru even in this matter. Sri Ramakrishna, no, not like in you there are these samskaras, these memories. In me there are no samskaras. Yes. So, we won't go too deep into that because it will lead us away from you are bound by your own actions. Who does it? Nature does it. Your two natures. One is the laws of nature, and one is your karma. All those karmas that are. They are pushing you and impelling you. Well, what is the Lord? Can't you see that we are so miserable? So he's saying, come out of this misery. Somebody will say, come out. Why do you want to be miserable? Yeah, so what happens is, until and unless this life is struggle, this life is suffering. And if this wasn't there, we would have become like stocks and stones, It is that which makes us struggle to throw away all bondages. It is that which helps us to struggle to overcome certain limitations. It is that suffering and pain and misery is that which awakens the jiva. So this is also inbuilt in the laws of nature, mental nature. That's why here he's saying the Lord is not responsible for all these things. Otherwise, he will become an agent. He or she will become an agent. So let me again remind you, this is spoken of from the highest impersonal standpoint. And the Gita, as you know, is a collection of all the most beautiful flowers, like ideas from the Vedas, and they have been made into a bouquet and presented to us. And some of these ideas are so sublime, they transcend the Vedas. That's why the Vedas themselves say, Tatra Veda Aveda Bhavati. In that state, the Vedas become non-Vedas. The Vedas are the scriptures, the oldest extant literature, if you can say. They're highly venerated. People have been giving their lives up to protect this sacred literature for thousands of years, not just one or two generations, thousands of years. In fact, they're saying, what is the duty of a person, religious person in India? They're saying, to protect the treasury of the Vedas. Yeah. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmana, that's later on. That person, Vidya Sampanna, Vinaya Sampanna, that is accomplished, full of knowledge and full of humility. That person has devoted his entire life to this kind of pursuit of knowledge. And then here this guy comes and says, the Vedas become non-Vedas in that state. So you have to transcend even the Vedas, not only transcend this world, transcend your individuality, transcend all this self-created universe in our own minds. You have to transcend even the Vedas. And what are the Vedas? Vedas, they are called the mind of God. It is through the Vedas that God creates, the personal God creates this universe. You transcend even the personal God. Personal in the sense in Vedanta, personal God means not one with two hands and two legs.
4 hands.
Sometimes we do it with 4 hands and 2 legs. 2 legs are always there. So sometimes 12 hands or 10 hands, 8 hands, 4 hands, 6 hands. 4 heads. But 2 legs will always be there. Otherwise, they knew what will happen. So what kind of God is? So the personal God in Advaita Vedanta is the sum total of all the personalities in the universe, from the blade of grass, Brahma, Sthamma Paryanta, till the Creator. All the personalities that are there in this universe form the personality of God. That is the personal God. Do we stop there? Oh no, this is just a beginning. Swami Vivekananda said, this is just the opening theme. And then he said, there is that impersonal God. And this impersonal God, like Narada, he comes towards, he gets frightened and runs away. Shuka, one of the greatest of the, you can say, Paramahamsas, Vyasa's son, he touches that. And Shiva takes a sip and becomes Shava. Corpse. Yeah, it is it's huge. Yeah, huge also. I'm using the word huge. Impersonal is impersonal. Can this be realized? Swami Vivekananda in his hymn to Samadhi said, like a shadow floats this universe in the void. The void comes even you say, before the impersonal, you can say. So shadow-like floats the universe. The whole universe floats like a bubble, like a shadow in this vastness, this void of the cosmic void. And then that also merges in that impersonal reality. So it's a huge thing. What do we do? Please tell us, what do we do? We like to weep and cry and pray and this and that and yeah, don't worry. You can keep on doing that, but keep on doing it sincerely. Keep on graduating. Don't keep on sticking around to one thing for all your life. As knowledge matures, you will understand first that I am an entity living in the body. The body is like a room and I am the dweller in this. And then comes the inquiry. What is the nature of this entity there? Like I was saying, there is something called astitva, that sense of existence. And then you will understand its real nature, swarupa. So, how do we realize the impersonal through the personal? It has to be realized only through the personal. The impersonal cannot be realized through the impersonal. It is going back to the origins, going back to the source, going back to the cause. We have somehow emerged out and are caught, trapped, and deluded. We detach ourselves, disengage ourselves, and come back within ourselves. So we are careful about what we do and say and talk. We don't want to create any more kind of bondages. So the whole responsibility now is thrown straight on your shoulders. God is not responsible for the misery that I am suffering. No. And this is Vedanta. People talk about Vedanta, in a flighty way. The first thing that Vedanta does is throws hot water on you to wake you up. Hot water, burn now. Take this responsibility. This is yours. You have been laying the blame on the world, on other people, on circumstances and gods and demigods and this ghost and that angel. Stop. Stop. Take it on yourself now. And now work out your salvation. Work out your liberation. No more blames. No more, you can say something that you want to pin your thing. So suddenly it awakens that tremendous strength that is within each and every one of us. No more weeping. So like Swami Vivekananda said, we have wept for long, no more weeping. Now stand on your feet and be men. Like one of his great Madras lectures. We have wept for long. Why are you weeping? Kin nama rodishi sake. Why are you weeping, my friend? He says. Tvai sarva shakti. In you is all power. This is the message of Vedanta. So, na datte kasyachit power. The Lord does not take any sin or virtue and all that thing. You take it. You have taken it. Now you come out of the whole thing. So that's why people get frightened of Vedanta. Theoretically, it seems so nice, beautiful. How? All this world is an illusion. Great. I was wanting this kind of thing. I knew that there was some stupidity in the whole mechanism. And why? They are escapist. But Vedanta will come and throw the whole thing at you. You were trying to escape. Oh, yeah, come. It'll catch you by the ears, make you sit. Now take the whole responsibility. No escapism. This is what Vedanta is. And we should become very clear that if you want to be a Vedantant, you've got to be this. Take responsibility now. And push away ignorance away from you. Come away from this. And you will see truth flashing. The next, I wanted to take this next verse, but then 2 verses itself talk about 40 minutes. Wow, 50 minutes. We'll stop here for today. We'll take that up. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. See if there's any.
Yes. Well, is there any other program for youth?
For youth, there is, we can tell them about this a series of meditation that will be it's a course, 10 classes on the theory and practice of meditation. Because people are, you can say, they try to escape the rigors of spiritual life by sticking to theory. I think we should get down to practice. So this will be designed for the youth and for everybody. So Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, for half an hour, we will be taking up the theory and the practice, the guide. I'll guide you through those steps. I'll go along with you. And then we'll keep a few minutes for QA.
How is decided if you're born as a woman or as a man?
Ha ha. Who decides? Nobody decides. We have certain karma that needs to fructify, and that guides. We are speaking about swabhava, swabhavastu pravartati. It is nature that impels us. What nature? That's that nature that we have created a mass of old memories that need to be fructified. They need to manifest.
What happens to the soul in the absence of the body, where it resides?
In the absence of the body, you have another body, which is called a subtle body. And then you have another body, which is called a causal body. So you have actually three bodies. Okay? The gross, the subtle, and the causal. If you throw away the gross, like you pare off your nails, you still have a nail, and it keeps on growing, and you pare it off. Now, you don't keep all those pieces of nails in a bag, and deposit it in a bank and saying, this is me. No, this is not you. You've thrown it away. Similarly, the subtle body keeps on manifesting gross, you can say, bodies in order to experience certain things that it has done. And the circumstances are dictated by what you wanted. And then you're veered towards that particular thing. The soul does not have any kind of sex there. There's no male or female or anything. Nowadays we have many kind of levels of sex, and this and that. And the modern, we know that the biological sex is kind of. So the soul has got no kind of connection with maleness and femaleness or whatever it is. Memories, samskaras, are experiences, and they are not male or female. Memories are memories. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.